Hare Krishna. I'm going to invoke auspiciousness. You can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we are reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are reading from chapter 18, which is the last chapter. Srila Prabhupada says that the Bhagavad Gita is complete with 17 chapters. And then the 18th chapter is a summary and, a conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. So it's called Conclusion, the Perfection of Pronunciation. And we are going to read a very famous verse, which is verse 66. So I'm going to read one word at a time, Sanskrit. Sarvadharman.
Sarvadharman.
Parityajya.
Parityajya.
Mam.
Ekam.
Sharanam. Raja. Aham. Tvam. Sarva. Papebhya. Mokshayishyami. Ma. Suchaha. Sarvadharman parityajya. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo. Mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Sarvadharman parityajya. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo. Mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Another time. Sarvadharman parityajya. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo. Mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Would you like to chant the verse and also you?
Sarvadharman parityajya.
Sarvadharman parityajya.
Mamikam saranam vraja.
Mamekam sharanam vraja.
Aham tva sarva papeyo.
Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo.
Moksha isha mima suchaha.
Mokshayishyami ma suchaha.
Sarvadharman.
All varieties of religion.
All varieties of religion.
Parityajya. Abandoning. Mam. Unto me. Ekam. Only. Sharanam. Surrender. Vraja. Go. Aham. I. Tvam. You. Sarva,
Sharva,
all,
all,
papebhya,
papeyo,
from sinful reactions,
from sinful reactions,
mokshayishyami,
moksha yashyami,
deliver,
deliver,
ma,
ma,
not,
not,
shucha,
sucha,
worry.
worry.
We are reading from chapter 18, text 66. Valerie just joined us. And I'm going to read the translation. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So we are coming towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita. And that's what Krishna said to Arjuna. He make it simple, just summarize in one verse. The conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita is right here. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Lord has described various kinds of knowledge, processes of religion, knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, knowledge of the Super Soul, knowledge of the different types of order and statuses of social life, knowledge of the renounced order of life, knowledge of non-attachment, sense and mind control, meditation, etc. He has described in so many ways different types of religion. Now, in summarizing Bhagavad Gita, the Lord said that Arjuna should give up all the processes that have been explained to him, and he should simply surrender to Krishna. That surrender will save him from all kinds of sinful reactions, for the Lord personally promises to protect him. In the 8th chapter, it was said that only one who has become free from all sinful reaction can take to the worship of Lord Krishna. Thus, one may think that unless he is free from all sinful reaction, he cannot take to the surrendering process. To such a doubt, it is here said that even if one is not free from all sinful reaction, simply by the process of surrendering to Sri Krishna, he is automatically freed. There is no need of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reactions. One should unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. With faith and love, one should surrender unto him. According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order, but if by executing his duty, one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him with all difficulties. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engaging himself in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purification processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation in a mystic yoga system, etc. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. That simple surrender unto Krishna will save him from unnecessary wasting time. One can thus make all progress at once and be free from all sinful reaction. One should be attracted by the beautiful vision of Krishna. His name is Krishna because he is all attractive. One who becomes attracted by the beautiful, all-powerful, omnipotent vision of Krishna is fortunate. There are different kinds of transcendentalists. Some of them are attached to the impersonal Brahman vision. Some of them are attached to the super soul feature, etc. But one who is attracted to the personal feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and above all, one who is attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna himself, is the most perfect transcendentalist. In other words, devotional service to Krishna in full consciousness is the most confidential part of knowledge, and this is the essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Karma yogis, empiric philosophers, mystics, and devotees are all called transcendentalists, but one with a pure devotee is the best of all. The particular word used here, masuchaha, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry, are very significant. One may be perplexed as to how one can give up all kinds of religious forms and simply surrender unto Krishna. But such a worry is useless. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, conclusion of the perfection of renunciation. And we are reading from a very famous verse, text 66. Sarvadharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami masuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So today we had a conversation at lunch with Valerie, and we were speaking about different people who do different things and create groups. So I shared part of our conversation. I shared like when I was living on boats, I was living on sailing boats, traveling the world, and all the people I knew, they were all on boats, on sailing boats, and they all were living on boats. And there was a culture connected with that, and there was a way of speaking, and there were things that were topics of conversation, all the gears around the sailing boats, and all the traveling we did, and adventure, but also, what kind of shirt you wear, and all those kind of things, due to human nature. Or the gears sometimes were even more important than the adventures themselves. So I learned a word today. It's dirt bag. I didn't know that word before, dirt bag. So there is a group of people called dirt bag, that dirt bagger. You may wonder where we are going. But so dirt bagger is a group of people who do like risk-taking, nature, outdoor adventure. Yeah. Like going down, the Grand Canyon or the Colorado River or like that. They are dirt bag because they have just a bag. They are kind of homeless. Like people on boats, they were homeless, it's just that boat. So they're kind of homeless, but then they have gears, like very important gears. And probably, I imagine, I won't say anything about the dirt bag, but I imagine that the more sophisticated gears you have and the brand that are the best brand probably put you on the top of the totem pole. I imagine. Anyway, something like that. Yeah, so she's saying yes. So yes, so human beings have a tendency to create religion. We belong to a group, we speak a certain language. There's things that are important for us. Like I go to San Velasco Park also there is bicycle people. And sometimes they have groups and they speak. And so they speak about their bicycle gears. That's what they speak about. And then they look at their bicycle, and then, you know, they have that gadget on their bicycle, or they have a certain brand things. So that's what human beings do. And we were just having a conversation about the psychology of human being. And I was thinking of that verse, that very verse. So that's why we are reading about this verse tonight. And now we crave religion. Human beings want religion. They want to belong to a group. They want to have a certain culture. They want to have a certain jargon connected with that culture. They want to have, you know, a sense of belonging, a sense of, you know, like being appreciated, admired for my gear, or whatever, what I've done, you know, like, yeah, like I will say something is that in a boating community, crossing the Atlantic Ocean is a big deal. So I was already up there. So, you know, it's a big deal. With only two people on a small little boat crossing the Atlantic Ocean, it's even higher. Because it's not even a big boat, it's a small boat. So, but anyway, so that's what we do. That's what we do with everything. We want to, you know, like maybe we do austerity and sacrifice, described in a Veda, described in the Bhagavad Gita. Maybe we give charity away. Maybe we cultivate the mode of goodness. Maybe we do a lot of sacrifice. And then those are dharma. They are temporary dharma. Or sometimes even they are sub-religious principles. And here Krishna said, give up all that. Give up all sense of belonging. Give up all sense of doing, like you do a certain thing or speak a certain language or follow a certain process. This is not important, the process you're following. At the core, all you need to do, you don't need to be worried about the process. All you need to do is surrender. And of course, it's easier said than done, isn't it? But here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives us a lot of hints what surrender is. Surrender, you know, like in different form. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also gives us a lot. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also it's described what surrender. So here there's a few things like feelings of the protection of the Lord, feeling the Lord is my maintainer, you know, the religious principle. And I love when Srila Prabhupada said, there is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. So that's our principle of surrender. Feeling protected, feeling maintained by the Lord, constantly knowing that I don't need to put endeavor. I don't need to endeavor towards economic development. My economic development is going to be taken care of by Krishna. I don't need to protect myself, create comfort, because that protection is going to be given by Krishna. And just thinking that way, in itself, those two are items of surrender. If I can just remember that I am maintained by Krishna and live in that consciousness and live in the consciousness that I am protected by Krishna, I don't need to have all those insurance and whatever gears to protect myself, that I am protected by Krishna, that even my, you know, like my existence is protected, my identity is protected. I don't need to put so much effort to have a certain identity to belong to a group or be accepted or be adored or be anything. That Krishna is protecting my identity because I'm always in relationship with Krishna. I'm always connected with Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada says that any endeavor, anything we do, and it can be in a mystic yoga system, or it can be in renunciation or non-attachment, or it can be in any of the sub-religious principles, if they are not like, if they are not really supporting us in surrender, then they're useless. All those efforts, even so they may look good, they may even look in a mode of goodness, they may even look religious, but if they are not provoking that sense of surrender, if they are not provoking that sense of surrender, then they are done in vain, Srila Prabhupada said. They are done in vain. The activities are in vain. So we want to take a look at in our daily life, and in our daily life, are we, like there is a verse, Dharmasya yapavargasya nartoyascha karmabi. Dharmasya. Anyways, that verse says that all occupational activity are ultimately meant for self-realization, for liberation. All occupational activities. So earlier in this chapter 18, Krishna described that we have prescribed duty, that as embodied soul, we are never going to stop acting. Action is part of being embodied, and even the soul is active. So as long as we are embodied, we are going to be active. And in this chapter, I describe, according to your position in society, which one of the things Srila Prabhupada mentioned twice in his purport, according to our position of social order of life and our position in society. Social order of life is, are we a brahmachari, a grihastha? Are we vanaprastha or sannyas? And then that's a social order, and then position of work is, are we a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, a Shudra? So according to those positions, then we have a prescribed duty. And in the chapter 18, he said, to do our duty, and to do our duty without attachment, and without attachment to result, without being disturbed when it's failed or elated when we are successful, to just do our duties as a way of surrender. And so I want to engage us in that, in thinking of our life. And today as I was reading, I was thinking of the situation in my life right now. And I can see, I could really differentiate the different parts. I could differentiate, like, the part of me that I want to fix, the part of me that wants to control, the part of me that desire to think that things are going to change because of my effort. And then I could see also, like, that it's not like I should simply give up, okay? Because I don't want to control, because I don't want to fix, then I don't do anything. But that will be like forced renunciation. And forced renunciation doesn't lead anywhere. So how to be non-attached, still do my duty, and as I do my duty, do it only for one reason, to provoke that surrender to Krishna. And we can look at every situation in our life in that way. Am I acting in vain? Am I acting out of vanity? In vain, that means kind of wasting my time. Out of vanity is like because I want some personal gain for some sense gratification, overt growth or subtle sense gratification? Or am I acting because I know that's what I'm supposed to do, and it doesn't matter if it's a good result or a bad result, or if it's auspicious result or it's not auspicious result? That's what I'm supposed to do. And when I'm in that place of acting because that's what I'm supposed to do, is it allowing me and supporting and provoking that sense of, yeah, the Lord is taking care of me, the Lord is protecting me, and that sense of humility, like feeling that in that conditioned state, I'm insignificant, that I don't need to boost any part of my false ego or protect my false ego. False ego means false identification. And our false ego doesn't need protection. False ego is the thing that we are supposed to free ourselves from. So I was thinking that since it's a small group today, to give a lot of space for questions. So I decided that I'm going to stop speaking around 7, that give us 30 minutes for what's happening for you when you read this purport, or when you hear that verse, or when you anything I shared with you. So I'm going to read again the verse, and then we can open it for conversation. Sarvadharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. There was another part where Srila Prabhupada says sometime in the 8th chapter, it said, like, in order to practice devotional service, one first need to be free of sinful reaction. And there Srila Prabhupada said, yes. And when we surrender, automatically we are free from sinful reaction. We don't need to be free from sinful reaction to surrender. I know, Srila Prabhu, you wanted to share something?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you for carrying on tonight even with a small group. So
I'm committed to keep it going with Wednesday night's Bhagavad Gita class.
Nice. Kichai. So Lakshmi Priya and I went to a yoga class this morning, and there was a conversation with one of the classmates about the difference between doubt and fear. Like, so there's two, there's in the second paragraph, it does speak to doubt. To such doubts, it is here said that even if one is not free from all sinful reactions, simply by the process running to Krishna, he's automatically freed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about, the very end of this purport: don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry. And it doesn't say don't doubt. So I was just curious, because there was, so to doubt versus to fear, is it the same or is it different? And we were thinking there's a subtle difference, but now I'm not so clear.
Yeah. I'm sure, like language, the English language can have so many meaning. Doubt means different thing for different people. Fear means different thing for different people. The way Srila Prabhupada used it here is like we may hear that in 8th chapter, that in order to perform devotional service, one may be free from sinful activities, sinful reaction. And then Srila Prabhupada said that could be a doubt, that in order to surrender, I need first to be free from sinful reaction. That could be a doubt in my mind that, oh, I'm not sure I could surrender because I'm not free from sinful reaction. So for sure, in doubt, it seems there is a layer of fear, like I'm not sure, like there is a layer of fear in doubt. Like I'm not sure. I'm maybe in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is confused. He have doubt about should I fight or not, and those doubts we can see in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. They are based on fear. Fear of killing his kinsman, fear of destroying the reputation of his family, fear of destroying the womankind. Like he gives so many arguments that are looked upon as doubts. And if we go deeper, there is fear there. And then, so I think the two are interconnected. And then the greatest type of fear, it's to stay in the material world. So this type of fear is not connected with doubt. Like doubts have an element of fear, but fear doesn't have necessarily an element of doubt. I can. Yeah.
Yeah, no, just hearing you reflect on that, I was also coming up with like indecision, like doubt also clouds the mind for indecision, because if I'm doubting, then I'm thinking then is that a good decision or not? Versus
Mhm.
clear and strong, then there's no fear, and then it's an easy progress, like really trusting in Krishna. So yeah, it just feels like that could be part of it too, is decision and indecision.
Decision and decision. Like, if I really believe Krishna is who we say he is in the Bhagavad Gita, and who the devotees are saying he is, like Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees, then I just put my arm in the sky, and then I'm just like, with you, Krishna. It doesn't matter what's happening in my life. I'm here for the ride, and I'm happy with the ride. Whatever you give me, I smile and I take it. And so that's clarity, like clarity of decision. Ekehaku Nandana, that's a verse we discussed last Wednesday. I'm not sure if you were here last Wednesday. I think you were not. So Ekehaku Nandana, like one pointed attention. It's verse 241. That's the one we discussed last Wednesday. One pointed attention. And that's what it takes. Spiritual life is that one pointed attention, complete clarity that my goal of life, moment to moment, is to surrender to the order of my spiritual master. It's to surrender to Srila Prabhupada. It's surrender to the personality of Godhead. And everything I do, moment to moment, is going to support that surrender. And it is, in a sense, there is no other meaning to anything I do all day. There is no other meaning to whoever I am. There is no other meaning to any relationship. That's the meaning, Ekehaku Nandana, like one pointed attention. And then if we are not there with determination and clarity, then we have a decision going on, like you said, and decision like, I'm not sure, doubting, like scared, like, wow, can I really let go? You know, like Draupadi, we have the picture of Draupadi here. And at first she was holding her sari with her two hands. She had doubt, like, can I really let go? Because Shakuni, no, that's not Shakuni, that was pulling her sari. This is, I don't remember his name. One of the brother of Duryodhana. Anyway, he was pulling her sari, and at first she was thinking, I'm going to hold on to my sari. Don't pull my sari. But of course, he was way more powerful than her. So she got defeated in a sense, and she knew, like, oh, there's only one friend here. Only one person who can help me is Krishna. But she still put only one hand when she called on Krishna, and she was kind of still holding with one hand to her sari. And we do that, like, I surrender, but half and half, because I have a lack of determination and clarity of decision. I'm still I have one foot in Krishna consciousness and the other foot in like me consciousness. And me is a controller, and me is the one who can make things happen. So like Draupadi, she was having one hand up and the other hand like holding to her sari. No, you're not going to take my sari, until she really like said, oh, Govinda. And she put all her both arms in the air, like, yeah, we have a beautiful picture here. She put her both arms in the air. And when she did that, she fully surrendered to Krishna, fully in the consciousness. Krishna will protect me. Krishna will maintain me. And we don't want to misunderstand that for her, she knew what will happen. She didn't know if she will become naked in front of the assembly of men or not. She didn't know what will happen. We don't want to think like, oh, she knew what was happen. That's, Krishna, is a trickster, and he sent yard and yard and yard of saris nonstop. And then Dushana, maybe that was Dushashan. Yeah, Dushashan. Dushashan. He was pulling the sari, and he was never coming to an end until he became so exhausted that he crawled on the ground. So, Draupadi, when she put her two arms in the sky, it's not that she knew what will happen. It's that she fully accepted that Krishna was her only maintainer and her only protector. And whatever will happen after that moment, she was fully accepting and surrendered to Krishna. And then at that moment only, Krishna showed up. And, of course, made it that she was never disrobed.
Mm.
So yes, that element of indecision, she had it too. And then out of fear and doubt, and then she stepped out of it, and magic happened.
Mm. Wonderful to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I faced that, just to surrender to Krishna, that's how it could look like. Yeah. One hand up there, one hand holding it until I finally just give up and surrender completely.
Yeah. We do that, isn't it? We have one foot in spiritual. Oh, yes, Krishna, I want to surrender to you. And then on the other, we just do everything we can to, manage the situation or whatever, fix the situation or control the situation or make plans in the planning committee and all that. Yes. Yeah. And then the most, the most terrible type of fear is the fear of cycling again and again in the material world and to different abominable situation in the material world. That's the most abominable type of fear. And Krishna said, if you surrender unto me, I will save you from all those fears. Yeah. And I like that you pointed out. I love that part. Like Krishna said, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry. That Srila Prabhupada asked to like Masuchaha. Don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry. If we could hear constantly Krishna saying that to our ears, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry. The hesitation is doubt. Yeah. Thank you, Anasuya, for your comment and discussion, conversation. We have Valerie here with her hand raised.
Can you lift it up just a little bit? There's a few things that come up for me. One of them is that you were saying when you were talking about like all of the gear, and you're like, we don't need the gear. And then I was thinking, I was like, and it would also be like really ignorant if I was to climb a 50-foot wall without any gear.
Mm-hmm.
So it has its place. And then I was just thinking like, well, it also depends on the goal. Because my goal to climb the wall, or is my goal to
speak about the gears?
Yeah, just speak about the gear.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Like what's Gamasya and Indriya Pritya, like what's the goal here? Mm-hmm. If the goal is to have the gear and speak about the gear and show the gear, or is the goal like I'm going to buy great gears that will, support me to achieve my goal? But the gear are not what's significant or meaningful.
The gear,
but they are necessary. But they are not what's need to be the center. Mm-hmm. So that's where we are looking at the distinction there.
Okay, yeah. Then
I'm not saying we don't need the gears. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just they are not the goal of life.
They're not the goal. Yeah, thank you.
And they're not even the goal of climbing.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. And then you mentioned something about finances, like trusting that finances will come. And I was actually doing some financial planning today, and I was thinking about that because I've definitely been in that mindset before. I was like, the money will come, and then it never does because it's more of a tamas state. But today I feel like I was more in like a rajas, like not trusting, like, oh, I have to figure this out. And so I guess I'm confused. I'm like, how to live in sattva, really. Because doing is part of being too, and action is necessary. And so it's like Krishna will bring money, and what is my role to play in that? Like financial planning does feel important.
To be responsible.
To be responsible, yeah.
Yeah, Prabhupada was very responsible. Like there is his diary that are available, and in his diary he will count every penny.
Mm-hmm.
He will account for every penny, and he will count every penny. And like, oh, money will come. Well, the goal of money here was sense gratification, isn't it? Like the like, oh, the money will come was not like an action of surrender towards Krishna and accepting Krishna as my maintainer, as an act of surrender. It was more like irresponsibility and I'm okay, and and mainly the money will come for one goal, which usually is sense gratification. It's not the goal to serve Krishna.
Okay.
So, there is sattva, and sattva is to do your duty and do your duty for the sake of it without, desire for gain. And then there is Shuddha sattva, where you're doing your duty for Krishna. And you know that Krishna is going to maintain you. And that doesn't mean abundance necessarily. It just means I'm receiving whatever Krishna sent me and accepting that. It may be that what Krishna sent me lead me to be a pauper in the street, and I'm really happy. I have no problem with that. Or it may be that I surrender to Krishna and I only do everything for Krishna, and I become a millionaire. And it's the same. I'm happy as much, either way I'm happy. But I'm not happy because, I'm $1 million and $1 million make me happy. And then if I'm a pauper on the street, I'm unhappy. Just no, I'm happy because I'm serving Krishna.
Yeah, it's like it's the essence versus the form. Like what brings happiness is the relationship to Krishna, and not the material. The materials don't bring happiness.
Yeah. So if I'm responsible, then I do my duty. Like there is endeavor in the more goodness. Let's see if I did the work. I think it's verse 26. I did take some notes from here. In this chapter, there's like really everything. Chapter 18 gives us everything. So the worker who is free from all material attachment and false ego, with enthusiastic and resolute, and with indifferent to success or failure, is a worker in a mode of goodness. So there's indifference to success or failure. So it's like, like even wanting to be surrendered, but with like still a set of mind that's attached to a certain result, is still Raja. As long as there is an attachment to a certain result, it's still Raja or Tamas. In a mode of goodness, it's like, I will work very hard. It doesn't matter. I can work 80 hours a week, really, to do my service, to do my prescribed duty, to serve my spiritual master. And if I get one chapati a day and that's all I get to eat, I'm really happy. And I get, a place somewhere and that's what's happened with Srila Prabhupada's movement. A lot of us, that was our life. We were working really, really hard, 80 hours a week, very easily. And then I remember in New York, in New York Temple, we were going on Sankirtan all day, getting up for Mongol Aarti, cleaning the temple and going on Sankirtan all day. And then all there was in the mornings, they will cook khichdi. And like in big quantity khichdi, which was really not only rice and beans. And that's all there was for the whole day. Khichdi for breakfast, cold khichdi for lunch, and then cold khichdi at night. because there was no oven or anything. It was just a kitchen and it was outside all day. But like it didn't matter. And then we would go to sleep and we'll sleep on the floor on a mat. And the next day we'll wake up and we'll be so happy to work so hard. And there was no sense like we were working that hard for any personal gain. So that's so a way of life, like to work very hard. And that working very hard is in service to Krishna for no personal gain to achieve. And that's the spirit. You know, I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not saying, but that's what we are looking at, and that's what that's where we enter the reality of how the universe works, really. Srila Prabhupada said, what does he say in his purport? Prabhupada's so eloquent. He said, there is no need of thinking how one keeps the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. So there's no need to even think about it. But I want to be responsible with the money Krishna gave me. I want to account for it, like every penny. I want to be responsible how I spend it. What do I do with it? Do I spend the money, and what I do is it for me, for my something, or is it in the service of Krishna? And of course, maintaining my body is in the service of Krishna. You know, if I, you know, of course, when I buy groceries because I'm going to cook for Krishna, but also I buy grocery because I want self-preservation. That's my responsibility to take care of my body. And I do that not because I want something out of it, but because I preserve my body for my body to do service to Krishna. Yeah, so it's all interconnected like that. And the less we think about ourselves and our self-maintenance, the more we can enter that magic of surrendering and in Krishna's magic, feeling his presence and his maintenance of us. So we want to be responsible with Krishna's energy. Every drop of water, we want to be responsible. Every part of Krishna's energy that Krishna gives us, we are responsible for us. We don't want to squander it. We don't want to waste it. We don't want to be irresponsible for it. But we also want to understand it's not like for my personal agenda. It's not for my personal agenda to fulfill. It's to fulfill Krishna's agenda. So did that give more balance?
Yeah. And then the question that came up was, how does that all relate to goals? Because at one point I was just like, well, then what's the point of goals? But I'm seeing that it seems like setting goals are also integrated here.
Yeah, setting goals for whom? If it's setting goal for me because I want money, or setting goal for me because I want to be famous, setting goal for me because I want to be successful, then that's going to be entangling. I'm not saying we don't do that, but we understand there is reaction every time it's about me. Setting goal for Krishna, like Anansuya, she set a goal. She wanted to buy a house, to do Prabhupada house. So she set a goal. It was a financial goal. It was a risk. It was not because Anansuya wanted to live in a beautiful place in Melrose. She didn't for years. Yeah. No, it wasn't for that. It was for Prabhupada's pleasure.
Yeah, I was going to say that because what I really wanted was a house in the duck pond in Gainesville, and the answer was no. And then when I wasn't even looking, that it was presented to me, and then I couldn't deny that it was, you know, Krishna's magic, and it was like there was no hesitation. There's just like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. So if you had in your goal setting, there was some Anansuya there in the duck pond idea. There was some like, I would love to have a beautiful colonial house at the duck pond. And that, you know, there was some of you in it. Even so, it was for Krishna, because sometimes we do that too. You know, there is like, I want to have, I remember when I came to Krishna consciousness, one of my vision was like, I want to have a big boat. And then with that big boat, we'll have a temple inside the boat and we travel from island to island with a temple inside the boat. So, it was for Krishna. Of course, it was for Krishna. Who else can it be?
It's like the feast tomorrow.
It's like the feast tomorrow, like the Thanksgiving devotion. Of course, it's for Krishna. Let's cook for Prabhupada's disappearance day. Oh God! Let's cook for Thanksgiving. So of course, it's for Krishna. Yes. How does that sound?
Mhm.
Clarifying. We want to have goals, and those goals are for Krishna. Prabhupada had a big goal. He had a big goal because his spiritual masters, they preached to the Western world. Prabhupada has a goal. He had a goal all his life to go to the Western country to preach Krishna consciousness. And all his life he worked towards that goal. From the moment he heard from his spiritual master to the moment he set sail to come to America, that was in his mind, nothing else. And he had a plan. His plan was to have a very successful business when he was a Grihastha, taking care of his family, to accumulate a lot of wealth. And when he accumulated a lot of wealth, then he will have so much resources to come to America, maybe bring an army of brahmachari with him and buy a temple as soon as he landed in America. He had a plan. It's not like he had no plan or goal. And all his goals fell. Not one of them worked. But his intention in his service to Krishna was 100% successful. He had temples all over the world. But his planning to achieve that goal didn't work. It failed. Most of them failed. And so, but it's not like he shouldn't have had a goal. Like Anasuya, she had a goal and she had a certain idea how the goal will manifest. And when the house in Melrose manifested, she was clear. Yeah, my idea wasn't what Krishna wanted. Krishna wanted something else. Okay, it's almost 7:30. And anything else? Anyone want to share before? We have a few more minutes. I don't see if it's 25, so we have 5 more minutes.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I was thinking also, Lakshmi Priya and I were talking about someone who just recently attended the foundational course, and I think she signed up for PPTC, but I'm not sure. But she's a business owner, and so she had spoken about how she basically failed at her business, and she's now starting it anew, and she's got some fear and some doubt. And Lakshmi Priya received a call from her, and they were talking, and she said, well, do you have the one in front of the string of zeros? And she kind of forgot that part of the foundational course. She kind of forgot that part. And so she had a nice conversation. And so it is interesting to see how unconscious many business owners are. And so I think there's a lot of value to remind someone, like, why are you doing this business? What, how your service to do this particular business, and this person's doing like well-being, like really something that is beneficial, but for who's good, as you said. So the service.
If it's not for Krishna, even if it's very good, it's not that very good.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's meditating on that. So I thought that was really
very relevant to what we are speaking about tonight. She had planned, and then in her planning she wasn't sure, and maybe the more we try to control success or the outcome of our endeavor, the more we are going to be in fear and anxiety. And if we just work because Krishna wants us to work and do what we are supposed to do and trust Krishna is going to maintain us and protect us, then there is no more anxiety. The only anxiety is like, will Krishna be smiling at me? Will Prabhupada be happy with me? That's the only anxiety that we take on in the service of Krishna, for Krishna, to please Krishna. Yes.
And my follow-up question is, I just listened yesterday to most of the recording that Patrick sent out to the PPTC group, and it was your class. And someone had asked about Tony Robbins and how someone had spent tens of thousands of dollars to be successful in his business, and then he comes to have coaching from you, and he got such a value, like I like a tenth of what he spent with Tony Robbins, and yet he made more money through your coaching. And so that intrigued me. So, because I was wondering if the coaching meant it was including that one in front of the string of zeros, but I don't know if you can share much details. But I found that fascinating. So I was like, oh wow, look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's true. It's this testimonial used to be on the Sadhvatu website, and he said, by coaching with Mari, I increase my income by 200% or something like that. He used that word 200%. And his name was a devotee name, so he was a devotee. So definitely, he knew the one in front of the zero. And at the same time, he was a businessman, and he was doing business the way businessman is supposed to do business. He was doing his prescribed duty, like if you're a Vaishya and you do business, then that you do your business as a Vaishya, which means like you may even lie. That's what he said. Like Vaishya are authorized to lie, to do their business. So the one was in front of the zero as he was a devotee. Yeah,
wonderful.
Most people they will maybe absorb that or maybe not. So we are here to support them like Lakshmi Priya was doing with this lady. Yeah, to remind them the one in front of the zero. Because if there is no one in front of the zeros, then it's all zeros. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much, Anasuya Prabhu, for coming and participating so actively. And thank you, Bhaktadevan, for being here, and Valerie, and Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
And we are probably going to continue even in December to have the Wednesday night Bhagavad Gita class. Hare Krishna, Anasuya is happy. And if you want to be the one giving class, please contact me. I'm looking for that, to have more speakers. But we'll keep it going even if nobody volunteers. I will give class. Hare Krishna.